Hello viewers, you're welcome to SaharaTV in New York City. My name is Omoyele Sowore and we're reaching you live to talk about the state elections in Anambra State, which is going to be another major test for the democratic process in Nigeria. Next Saturday, there will be a gubernatorial election in Anambra State, southeast of Nigeria. And we're lucky today to have the spokesperson of INEC, that is the Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, Mr. Kayode Idowu, who is actually on the ground there in Anambra to talk to us about the preparation and what to expect next week. Mr. Idowu, you're welcome to SaharaTV.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So this is one of the major tests for your organization, INEC. Anambra is a very, very well-known place to be, a very, very volatile political space in Nigeria. And it has one of the highest number of educated Nigerians that is publicly known. It's actually Chinua Achebe's home state. Among many other people, including Udumego Ojukwu, late.
Exactly.
So now people are looking up to INEC to perform miracle next Saturday. Miracle being, conducting a free and fair election. So what have you put on the ground to ensure that this is going to happen?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sowore. Now, INEC has put a lot in place to ensure that the Anambra election will be the best that has been conducted so far. Now, I said that because what INEC does is to make sure that whatever lapses we have observed in the previous elections are addressed in the new election, so that we are progressively improving. And so I can assure you that Anambra election will be way out better than what we did in Edo and Ondo State. Now, one of the things that we have done, for instance, is that we have done the continuous voter registration in Anambra. We were not able to do that in a number of states where we did elections previously. Now, you will recall that about 2 days ago, we launched a service. That service is being piloted in Anambra, whereby prospective voters who want to confirm before voting day whether their name is actually in the register and the location of their polling unit number and the location of that polling unit. They can simply send a text in a format that we have announced to the commission or to a line that we have dedicated, and there will be a response telling them where they need to go so that on election day, they don't have to wander around. They know the exact place they are going, and they just go there and perform their civic duty. These are things that we are piloting that service in Anambra. We are hoping to launch it nationwide after Anambra. That's one indication of how we have upscaled in our preparation.
So let me quickly ask there, because Anambra has this problem, which we'll talk about later. What if somebody is involved in multiple registration? They've been registered more than once, as we heard the gubernatorial election candidate for APGA has multiple registration. Where would the text message send you if you have more than one registration, if you have registered multiple times?
Now, let me assure you, I am aware of all the controversy that is out there about a particular candidate.
Yes.
Now, let me assure you that in this register that we are using, there are no multiple registrations. I guarantee you that.
Okay.
Because, like we said, we have used a software that is able to eliminate duplicates and will retain only the latest registration. Okay. And also gives us an evidence where such happens. So I can assure you that there is nobody whose name appears twice in the register. Okay. That is guaranteed.
So this applies to Willie Obiano as well, the candidate of APGA. So he only has one registration card left now, according to your records.
I don't want to mention names.
Okay, well, this particular subject.
I can assure you that everybody has only one record left.
Including the subject that, is under reference.
everybody has only one record left in the register.
Yeah, let me quickly ask, since we're talking about that, is it a crime, according to INEC rules or the Electoral Act, for somebody to register more than once? Is it still a crime in view of what
Absolutely,
your software?
Yeah. Okay. By the laws of the country, it's a crime.
Okay, so would this mean that since you don't want to refer to the person, that this person might be punished for this crime at some point, if it is found to be true?
Double registration is a crime that is punishable in law,
Okay.
and every culprit or every offender or every suspect, don't let me use the word culprit because it's the judge, is the court
Yes,
that
will determine that.
The guilt or otherwise.
Yes.
Every suspect is potentiated for prosecution.
All right. Well, fantastic. So let's move on to what happened in Delta and Anambra. You mentioned Ondo and Edo, where you conducted elections at. But it seems that the election in Delta, the recent senatorial election in Delta, made a lot of people start to have doubts about INEC's ability to conduct free and fair election again. There's been complaints that the military and the police were heavily used to manipulate the outcome of that election in conjunction with the Delta State government. So this election did not seem to meet the smell test.
Well, let me try to separate issues in what the statement you just made.
Yes.
That the security agencies were heavily used. That might be true. To manipulate elections, I don't know about that. Now, let me tell you. You see, we have something that we call the Interconsultative Committee on Election Security. What that committee does is to bring together all security agencies in Nigeria, including the prison service, including the Federal Safety Commission, all the security, customs, Navy, Army. And what they do is to do they customize their operational order for a particular society where election is holding. And therefore, what you find on election day is an indication of the assessment by the security agencies of what that area looks like. And you know that in Nigeria, security agencies, I can assure you that security agencies do not carry arms to go to polling units. They could be in the town where the suspect, there could be flashpoints and there could be threats to security and all that. But you will not find any security agent with arms in the polling unit. That's why I said I don't know about the other aspect of your question.
But if they are not armed, how do they handle political talks if they invade a polling unit or a polling booth?
Well, that's why you also have. That's why I said in the town, for instance, you have points where it's a concentric cycle.
Yes.
Ideally, talks should not even be able to access polling units. They will have been stopped before they get there.
Okay, except if, of course, there's connivance.
Yeah, yes, of course. Except there's a connivance
Yes.
and stuff like that. And so that's the security strategy. And so when you find security agencies in the polling unit, they are there simply to. They could be the number is determined by the assessment of security issues there. Now they are there to ensure that things go well. But of course, you see, we are in a society where everything you do is politicized. When there's no security, it's an issue. When security is out there to say, before we suspect there's a threat here or there's a high potential of threat here, let's make sure that we preempt the potential. It's an issue. But the best thing is just for us to be sure that the people that are the security agencies are operating by the rules guiding the operations. They do not, for instance, that's why I said you will never find a security agent with arms in a polling unit. Wherever you find that will be a complete breach of the operational rules. And INEC will not tolerate that.
So let me ask you the last question on Delta State. Is INEC satisfied that Delta State senatorial election that was held a few weeks ago was free and fair? Can you say that?
Well, I can say that INEC did its best, and a result that was announced is a reflection of the will of the people.
Well, I guess that's something that will be subjected to discussion in another interview. So now, let's go back to Anambra, where you are now on the ground. So do you have other measures you put in place to make sure this election is free and fair? I mean, it's interesting to hear that people can actually send text messages now and know where their polling booth is located, and we're going to try to test this out today. And also, are there other measures?
In Anambra, like I said, it's only for Anambra. So ask somebody in Anambra.
Yes, absolutely. We have people on the ground there who can try it out.
So they use the Anambra and the VIN number.
Okay.
The voter in Anambra, please test it out. And
so is this number something you can give to us? The place to send the text message to? Can you give it to us on air? Yeah.
You see, I can. What you do, the format is you text the state, that is Anambra.
Yes.
Then you text your surname.
Okay.
If it's Ubiara or Keke or
Konkwo
or whatever.
Yes.
The surname or Konkwo, the surname.
Yeah.
Then also the state, comma, space. Surname, comma, space. Then the last 5 or 6 digits of the VIN number.
That's the VIN number of your voting card.
On the voter card. On your voter card, there's a VIN number, voter identification number.
Okay.
So the last 5 or 6 digits of that voter card, of that VIN number.
Yes.
You send it to 081 7164.
Okay.
6879.
Okay. Can you say that one more time?
You said state, comma, that is Anambra.
Okay.
State, comma, space. Surname, comma, space.
Okay.
The last 5 or 6 digits of the VIN number.
Okay.
Send as SMS. Send it as SMS to 081.
Yes.
7164.
Okay.
6879.
All right. Well, we're going to try all the VIN numbers of Willie Obiano and see which one works.
Well, please.
Definitely.
Try.
All right. So let's go back to other preparations you have in place, because some of the things that compromise this election fairness in Nigeria is, of course, the remoteness of a lot of places in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So how many polling units are we expecting voting to take place tomorrow, according to your records?
Yes, but
I mean, next week
Saturday,
sorry, yeah.
Yes, in Anambra we have 4,600 and just a minute. We have I'm trying to get the exact figure.
No problem. Take your time.
4,000 plus polling units. Yeah.
Okay.
4,000 plus polling units. We have 21 local government areas, of course.
Okay.
Then we have 326 wards.
Okay.
The polling unit is 4,608.
Okay. 4,608.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are looking at voters of 1.7 million.
I was going to ask that. So you have 1.7 million registered voters.
Exactly.
All right. And you have enough voters' cards. You have enough ballots to take care of this.
Absolutely.
And you can guarantee us that the ballots are serialized?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Good. So next thing is, so nobody can import ballot papers or fake them. You'll be able to tell. Do they have any security?
Absolutely. We've done this even since 2011.
Yes.
You know that we color code our ballot papers.
Okay.
And we serialize them.
Okay.
Now, the color code, I can assure you that nobody else except the topmost officials in INEC know the color codes for specific units, because it's not even the same color for every local government in Anambra.
Okay.
There are color codes for certain units. So if the color code for this local government is yellow, and you take the yellow for local government A is yellow, and you take yellow to local government B, it will show that it's It's a fake ballot paper. It's a straight ballot paper, and it will be rejected. And so there's a color code that we use for the ballot paper. There's and the serialization that we have done. And these are all measures that have been put in place to check the abuse that we experience. As a matter of fact,
yes,
the ballot boxes are serial numbered.
Okay.
Such that there's a ballot box that if you take it out of this local government or out of this ward to another ward, it shows that this is not, it doesn't belong there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's high time you start putting tracking numbers also on, tracking devices on those ballot boxes so that you can track where all your ballot, these are very easy technology that you can adopt at INEC. Hopefully we'll see that in 2015. Another thing quickly to ask you is, INEC always have this logistic problem. We've seen that a lot because we've been following you in the last few elections where materials don't arrive on time, so you have people who are supposed to start voting in some place at 9 a.m. Materials don't get there until 4 p.m. and voting goes into the night. And it is at night that the agents of manipulation have all the chance and the opportunity to manipulate election results. How are you going to deal with that this time around differently?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's unfortunate. Now, you see, I can tell you that INEC has tried to progressively improve on logistics. That's why I said each previous election is a learning curve. We want to see what caused the delay in this one again. How do we avoid it in a subsequent election? And so everything that caused delay in Delta, for instance, we factor them in here now, and we've tried to address them. But let me put a caveat. You see, elections are not calculus. It is sociology. When you deploy, for instance, you deploy about 150,000 human beings for an operation. Your blueprint is one thing. The deployment and the human factor is another thing. Sometimes human factor come in spite of the blueprint, the operational blueprint that you have. That is not to say, that is not to justify, please. That is not to justify. I'm only trying to show that sometimes these things is not for lack of planning. Sometimes you say, okay, people should come and pick their materials on the eve of election. And on the eve of election, some people say, no, we have issues and we are not ready to address those issues. That's not something that the blueprint are not, because the blueprint are addressed that at X number of hours, please, this thing must move out. And so human factors, and when you deploy human beings, especially at such number that you deploy them for elections, it's not calculus. You can't have 100%.
I completely understand that it's not calculus, but it's also arithmetic because they're dealing with numbers here. And INEC by now should be able to overcome some of these issues because we've done, since 2011, if a child was born in 2011, Mr. Idowu, by now they'll be talking. They'll be doing some other things. If INEC is still stagnant on the issue of, sorting out this logistics, then people are bound to accuse you of conniving in making sure that we don't have free and fair elections.
So it's not as if we have not improved on these things, but you know what happens? Now, if we have 4,000 polling units, for instance, do you know that if we have issues in only 100 polling units out of 4,060 polling units, that will be the news.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
That 4,650 polling units, things went up well there. They will remember only the 100 where there are issues.
Yeah.
That's the way these things are. It's not meanwhile, what we have done would have been better than we did in the past.
Yeah.
But the attention will always be where you have these speeches.
Absolutely, because people expect a lot more from from INEC
I agree.
all other agencies combined together. Let me ask you the last question because we're running out of time here. Election result announcements. Where do they start? How do we start to get raw figures? At what time should we expect that results will be coming out? And when do you stipulate or expect that INEC will be able to give us final results in next Saturday's election?
Well, you know that in the past, we've tried to keep the announcement within 24 hours, maximum 48 hours. That's the worst case scenario. But in most cases, we try to keep it within 24 hours. But let me tell you, you know that the results actually begin to come out at the polling unit.
Yes.
Although it cannot, winners cannot be aggregated and returned by whoever, including the media.
Yes.
But soon after voting, results are pasted at the polling unit. And that is why for parties who are supposed to have agents at the polling unit, before they get to the collation center, you can have the results in your hand. Although you can't do much about it until the returning officer
declares finally. Yeah.
So the results begin to come out at the polling unit. Then it goes on to collation center. Then so you have to look at the terrain. What is the terrain? Those are the things that inform how soon or late the results are. But like I said, we've kept it within 24, 48 hours. I can tell you it can't be beyond 48 hours.
All right.
It could be within 24 hours.
We want to thank you so much for coming on our show, Mr. Kayode Idowu, Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman. And next Saturday, of course, we'd love to have you back to give us a blow-by-blow account of how the election is going. Thank you so much.
That's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Viewers, it's been the INEC spokesperson talking about the election coming up in Anambra State. And we promise next Saturday we'll be here to give you information as they become available to us regarding the progress of that election. Please do not go away. We have more programming coming your way. As a matter of fact, I just heard from our producers that we might be able to talk to a family member of the Ghanaian minister who was fired for saying that she wants to make $1 million before leaving office. Do not go away.